I believe it's easily noticeable by now that majority of the people in South Africa, usually those who were once against the EFF when the EFF was brutally honest by the stance of African people, Pan-Africanism, and this open border discussion, which many of them take it out of context. Majority of the people are finally starting to agree with the EFF. They won't say they agree with Julius Malema. They won't say we finally agree with what the EFF has been saying for the longest time about the borders. But their actions and the way they move and the things they say currently, it shows that they're starting to appreciate the truth the EFF has always shared. I remember Julius Malema used to say, and yeah, you can say I love talking about Julius Malema, because I love it. There's a lot of the things he used to say in the past that are happening today. And I don't even want to say he's a prophet, because he's not. He's not. He's just a regular human being. Maybe he just foresaw this. Maybe he got a vision about this. I remember he once said that the EFF is always ahead. Many people in South Africa get to appreciate the things the EFF says now, later on in life. And that's what I see today. Many people are starting to appreciate the mere fact that the EFF has been in the forefront of exposing that there is no borders in South Africa. Julius Malema always gets into trouble when he goes into podcast and speaks about this thing of immigration and borders. Many people love to misinterpret him. They love to not want to understand him. They love to misunderstand him. But now they are starting to grasp and see what we've been always telling them. You can never address the issue of borders, of illegal immigration, without talking about borders. Many of them are starting to awake and realize the real truth, why these things are happening, of illegal immigrations, people coming to our country, is because there's no borders. So they won't say the EFF was right, because it will sound like they now agree with the same EFF they used to disagree. It will sound bad for them, for their agendas. It will sound bad for them to want to be wrong and the EFF to be right. So they will never say, Julius Malema was right. There is no borders as in our country. This man has been saying this thing. Julius Malema was right to say. So many people indirectly, so they're coming to appreciate what Julius Malema was talking about when it comes to the borders. Because we need to be honest. As much as you're a South African, you want to hate foreigners so bad, there's no borders in South Africa, and this issue is not an EFF issue. This is not an EFF issue. This is not Julius Malema's issue. Julius Malema is not the one who is the leader of South Africa. He's not the one responsible for the infrastructure portfolio, infrastructure department, or minister of infrastructure. He's not the one to be doing public works, and because he's not in power for those portfolios. He's not in power to even create so much change. There's people who you need to be holding accountable as the citizens of South Africa, but you're not. You're blaming the wrong people. And now you're coming to terms with the fact that these people whom you are always trying to shame, always say, hey, Nina, open borders, this and that. You're coming to appreciate they were right. And you're feeling to acknowledge and be honest that, Yazin, these people were right. We were not listening to them properly. These people were right. We were not hearing them properly. Because there's no borders. What other solutions are you going to come with as a country if there's no borders dividing different countries and there's an issue of illegal immigration? You can't be talking about deporting people. What for? For what? Deporting them from where to where? Like, there's no borders. What are you going to be dividing their deportation with? Because there's no fence. There's no wall. They can easily come back. And it's going to be wasteful expenditure. Maybe even corruption can happen. And there's something, a new article, but I'm going to talk about the article on a separate video, because that article was the Minister of Home Affairs, the DA Minister, exposing that ever since 2015 in South Africa until now in 2025, the Department of Home Affairs has spent more than 300 million deporting foreigners. But every year we hear that there's more foreigners in South Africa than there ever be. So if they're deporting foreigners and there's more foreigners than there were before, why is there more foreigners in South Africa compared to back then if so much money has been spent? What is the big problem? What is the issue? Why is there more foreigners? Why are the foreigners not going deported and never coming back? Why do they still come back? Because there is Borderless Africa. The Borderless is already in action. Majority of people are gonna realize this very late. The Borderless Africa is already happening. In Botswana, they talk about Borderless Africa and they are bringing solutions to mitigate this illegal immigration. They are saying that the Zimbabweans, they're gonna give them credit, they're gonna give them documents. They're trying to mitigate all of these illegal activities because there is no borders. And thinking about investing money to build borders is another issue they have to worry about. Another issue of paying people to build this border, and they don't want to face it. They rather come together with other African people and document these people to avoid crime, to avoid people getting away with murder, to avoid illegal immigrants getting away with abusing the system and they can't be traceable. So we rather document them, even if it means that our country is gonna increase in population, but we can't afford to be having people who are undocumented in our country. Many people are coming to realize that's the only solution, because the border, building a border was supposed to be the main conversation in between all of these things about illegal immigrants, but no one is having that conversation. Not even the patriotic, useless political parties are having a conversation about borders, but they're talking about illegal immigrants. Hey, abahambe. Why are you talking about abahambe when you're not talking about a border? You can never chase people out of your house. People whom you already demonized and you're already calling them, these people are criminals, are gangsters. They want to come to your house and steal. You can never chase them out of your house if your house, the windows are not closed, they don't have windows, they don't have butlers. They're going to come back when you are sleeping and they're going to steal because there's no barriers to entry. They can enter. So the borders must be the topic of discussion, not deportation, not abahambe. Abahambe is just a hearsay. No one is going to do anything. Abahambe. Even if you get the funds to chase them, as long you don't get the funds to build the barrier for them not to come back, there's nothing that's going to be stopped. But hey, EFF. People are realizing EFF is right when Julius Malema says many of these people are just in denial that there's foreigners and the foreigners are already here, and the big issue is that there's no borders. The Borderless Africa is in action, and it's not because of the EFF, and it's not because of Julius Malema. It's because of God's grace. God wants black people to unite more than ever, but black people, they are their own enemies. Black people are against themselves more than any other race. Of course, this is not even about attacking foreigners or attacking South Africans. This is about the border. Let's talk about the border, because there's no any other way to deal with this if you don't talk about the border. And if you don't talk about the border and you want to deal with this, talk about documentation. This thing of foreigners must go, that's not a solution. It's not a solution to be shouting foreigners must go, abahambe. That's far from being a solution. The solution is document. If you don't want to document these people, build a border. If you don't want to build a border, then shut up. Illegal immigration will continue because there's no systems to stop it. You can't be telling people, how we're going to arrest you. You think they're not going to come. They're going to come even if you shout, hey, we're going to arrest you. They are still going to come. These people, they want to come so bad. They don't care. They're jumping rivers to come. So imagine you saying, how we're going to arrest you. You think they're going to be scared of that? They're going to come and risk being arrested. Many of them are not being arrested. They're getting away with being illegal immigrants, bribing police in our very own country in South Africa, because there's no systems to help us integrate these people and for these people to be known in our system. They're getting away with murder. They're getting away with a lot of things, but no one can trace them because, hi, let's not document them. They're foreigners. Then build a border. But it is what it is. Thank you very much.